are dirty. Dirty glasses, y'all. Oh, man, I just can't get that. Hello, hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Trying to get my glasses clean. I can't see them. I got them all all leaky. All leaky. I can't talk tonight. I can't talk any night. Hi. Is it Kingsley? I can't read it without my readers, and my readers are they're just like, I just keep smudging them more. I can't get them clean tonight. I am tired, if I'm to be honest. I'm tired. Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't say it wrong. But I have to be on here, so I missed 2 days last week because I wasn't feeling well, so. You too. Where are you from? Hopefully I can get my glasses clean here so I can actually read. Oh, from Nigeria. Okay. Oh, my glasses are just they're all smudgied. I can't get them clean. I don't know what's going on. I am from South Dakota in the USA. Aw, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Sorry, guys, I'm, nice meeting you too. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the likes. My glasses are all smudged tonight. And I can't get them clean, and I can't hardly read comments without them. Ohio, welcome. Glad to have you here. Aw, thank you. All right, I think I got them this time. Or better than they were anyway. At least I can see. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. We got a lot to talk about tonight. My guide gave me 4 pages. I think the most she's ever given me before is 2, so apparently she's got a lot. We got a lot to talk about. Some of it's repeat. Veronica, hi, how are you? I'm really tired, to be honest. I'm ready to go to bed now, but I need to get this done. So, is it Luna, Ohio? Welcome. Sorry, shaking the whole darn thing. Thank you for the badge. Just want to go back, make sure I'm not missing anything. Some comments were filtered. Huh, hilarious. I'm right? Okay, good. Thank you for the follow. Do you have a name? Is it Button Cook? Do you have a name and where you're from? Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the likes, guys. Oh, thank you for the badge. North Carolina, welcome. Do you have a name? Sorry. My nose never starts itching until I get on a live. My grandma always says somebody's talking about you. She believed in all that stuff. Sorry, guys. My throat's already going crazy, and I just got started. That's not a good sign. Hi, Rick from New Jersey. Welcome. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. I was just going to let a few more people hop on. I'm running a little late tonight. Surprise, surprise, not. I'm always running a little late. I actually was going to be early and then I got a call, so that made me late. I was actually going to be like 5 minutes early tonight. Of course, that didn't happen. My family, what? King Cole, do you have a name and where you're from? And what were you saying? Are from South Dakota? What part? Swingers? Who's a swinger? I ain't no swinger. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I was hoping a few more would hop on so I could get going because I've got 4 pages tonight. So I guess I'll just get started and then usually then people hop on. So if you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Bon Homme County. Oh, I've heard of that, but I'm so tired tonight I couldn't tell you where it's at. My week has been very, very long, Veronica, to be honest. Sundays are usually my only day off, and I had to work today. So, Fridays and Saturdays, I usually only do my morning job, and Friday I got called into my second job. So, yesterday was crazy because after I got off work, I had to go to a soccer game and a dance recital. So, it's just been exhausting and no downtime to really recoup. Let me go back. I'm missing a whole bunch. Sorry, guys. Salvatore, is it? Thank you for the follow. Clara, can you be my mod? Well, I don't really have any mods right at this moment, but I'll keep you in mind. Keep reminding me, okay? I really don't need one at this moment. From Cali, welcome. What part of Cali? Justin, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Sorry, guys, I'm probably shaking it. I gotta fix my phone here. You're Renee as well, but with an E. Big Red Barn. Ah, yeah, you know, my dad's family is all French, so I'm surprised they don't have that little thing. I don't even know what that's called, but I'm surprised they don't have that. Thank you for the badge. Greenville, North Carolina, welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay, guys, well, I'm already not quite 10 minutes into it, so I'm just going to get going here. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. I'm going to move my phone one more time. If you're not familiar, I started my TikTok. Shanna from Colorado, welcome and thank you for the badge. Brian K, thank you for the roses. Awesome, thank you. Oh, that's great. And the badge. And the badges. I appreciate that so much. So I started my TikTok a year ago in March. The reason I started my TikTok is because on September 14th of 2023, if you're not familiar, thank you for the follow also, for the follows, guys, and the badges. My husband, for TikTok purposes, unalived himself, and that's when I discovered I had abilities to talk to my guides, and they slowly breadcrumb me to my purpose, which is to be here with all of you lovely people. So when I go live at night, I'll catch up with the chat in just a second. So when I go live, my guides usually give me the topic, so that's what we talk about. Sometimes they just give me a topic and go on, and sometimes they give me stuff to talk about. And tonight she gave me 4 pages, so we have a lot to talk about. All right, I'm gonna go back real quick, catch the chat. What did I miss, Veronica? You passed your math practice. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I've been wondering. Life's just been crazy for me, so I apologize. I am so glad. Oh, Shanna, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Oh, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Is it Tequila Annie? I love that. West Georgia in the house. Good evening. All right, West Georgia, glad to have you. Daniel, I miss you too. Okay, Brian from Jupiter, Florida, welcome. It's just a practice, but the score to pass was 145 and I got 153. See, I knew you could do it, Veronica. You just have to have faith in yourself, girl. You got this. I knew you could do it. Thank you for the follow. Was it Renee you said? Tequila Annie, thank you for the badge. Yeah, she's been trying so hard, guys, so give her kudos. She's got this. I know she's got this. So thank you for all the badges, guys. And so anyway, so tonight the topic is my guides give me the topic. We're going to talk about triggers. Before I do that, I just want to talk real quick. I only have 2 rules here. One, I ask that you always just be kind. And the second one is we don't talk any politics here. It's not against one side or the other. It's just that's not what my page is about. And so we just don't. There's a million other pages out there for that. And also, this kind of goes along with the triggering. I am on my journey of life where I am and you are where you are. And so we're not all going to agree. Sometimes we get triggered. Don't get triggered with that. But we're not all on the same journey of life at the moment. And so we're not always going to agree on everything. And so on my page, we agree to disagree. And if you can't do that, I just ask that you hop off and keep scrolling. So, okay. Yes, Renee. Okay, awesome. All right, let me go back. I am so glad you let me know. I have been wondering, and I've seen your messages. I apologize. I've just been exhausted to just be flat out honest with you. Life has just been really crazy, and I'm just doing my best just to keep up. So, okay. So tonight we're going to talk about triggers. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. My name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota. So it was funny because my guide said, look up the definition of trigger, right? And so that's what I did. And the definition, and I just kind of took the short version, but things that cause reactivation of trauma. And I think I just skipped, so sorry guys if I did. Reactivation of trauma. And I thought, that's perfect. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's perfect. Because that's going right along with what we're talking about tonight in trauma. Thank you, Daniel. He's so great. Mike from Minneapolis, welcome. Glad to have you here. It's funny you talk about all this stuff, but you're too far gone. No, you're never too far gone, Mike. Never. Brian K., thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. And so my guide said, so if someone can trigger you, you have something that's unhealed or unresolved, right? And I'm going to skip over. Let's see if I can find that because I found there was another thing. Well, I'll talk about that at the end, but basically that's what it is, right? If somebody can trigger you some way, shape, or form, that means you have a trauma that has been not healed, okay? And I'm just as guilty. And if you're new here, you'll find out that my guides are giving me all this stuff just as much as they're giving you all that stuff. So I'm working on my triggers. I don't know about you all. AMG, thank you for the follow. Do you have a name and where you're from? I appreciate that. So we're going to talk about, so my guide said, don't avoid the triggers, right? We don't want to avoid them. We want to engage them, turn in or tune into them, and embrace them, right? And I'm going to explain tonight why you want to do all that. You couldn't care less? Well, then you can sure hop off and keep scrolling. Nobody's twisting your arm to be here, just saying. Okay, so when I say turning in or tuning into them, we're going to talk about that is where all that information is stored, right? I couldn't care less about what you? I'm here, right? I worked my only day off. I'm exhausted, but I'm here. So I do care. If that's what you're saying, I do care. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I worked 2 jobs. I work 2 jobs, and this is basically another job, and I sew on the side, which is like a 4th job. And I come on here 4 nights a week. And I'm not saying this to toot my horn, but I come on here 4 nights a week, exhausted. You know, I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't do that if I didn't care about people. That's my purpose in life. I discovered that after my husband passed. And so that's why I'm here. So, I do care. Anyway, so tuning into your triggers, that's where all your information is, right? That's where all the information is stored of what's causing your trigger. So why am I triggered? Where does that stem from? When you have that answer, you can dive into that and heal and no longer be triggered. AMG, God bless me. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for the badge. You work early? I do too. I work an early job and then I go to a second job. So, and then I'm here for an hour at night. So I understand. Okay. So examples of trigger, abandonment. And this is a huge one for me. So if you're not familiar with my page, my guides, like I said, they give me these messages to help me as much as it helps you. And I am the guinea pig. So they like to use my life and my situations as an example. And of course, the first one she said was abandonment. And of course, she's like, okay, now go on and talk about your abandonment issues, right? So I'm not above anybody here or anywhere, right? I'm just there with everybody else, trying to help other people as I'm on my path of growing and expanding and learning, right? Yeah, we do. It is sad. I lost my husband, so I have to do what I have to do to take care of myself now. So, okay. So abandonment, always being afraid for me in relationships now, especially. So I already had abandonment issues from my childhood. And so when I met my husband, and then my husband, if you're not familiar, unalived himself in 2023. And that expanded my abandonment issues, right? And I'm trying to work through that. Bentley, lay down. Sorry, that's my dog. He gets restless when I get on live. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. And so what that looked like for me now is I have trust issues, right? Because I feel like everybody that's going to come into my life is going to abandon me. So that's where I'm working on that, right? So that's one of my triggers. And I've put up a wall and I'm working on trying to take that wall down. And not be triggered and not to have those issues. But like I said, you have to tune into them. You have to figure out, okay, what's the stem of it? And that's where I'm working, right? And then she said, what would it look like? So for me, like I just said, it looks like trust issues, right? I have a hard time trusting that people aren't going to leave me because that's just where I've been, right? So very sorry for such a heavy loss. Lots of trauma as well. It's hard to keep it down. Yes, exactly. And that's why I'm here. Because the last year and a half, I've been working on all of my trauma and my issues from before him, after him, during him, everything. We were together for 32 years. So have lots of that. I feel like I've been mean, but I'm just sad. Okay, well, you're forgiven. I don't hold grudges here, and I'm so sorry that you're sad. And if you are sad, you're in a great spot because that's what my community is about. We talk about if you're lonely, you're sad, you're depressed, you have trauma, you have loss. That's what we talk about here. So you're welcome to pipe in anytime. That was one thing I forgot to mention. If you're new here, we are not shy here. So you're never interrupting me, and I always believe the conversation goes where the conversation is supposed to go. So, never be afraid. Just know that if you talk to me, I might ask you questions. So, okay. You seem like you're dealing with stuff better than me. Well, I kind of had no choice, right? So if you're new here, I always like to tell people. So my husband didn't leave me in a great spot financially, right? And so therapy was out, and I'm the circle that don't fit in the square. I'm the unique girl. And so once I decided I was going to stay on this planet because I didn't know how to survive without my husband, like I said, we were together for 32 years since I was 16 years old. And I had never been more than 2 weeks without him. So once, hold on, I know I'm missing some in the chat. I wish you would. No one does. Just hang on, Mike, okay? We'll ask you questions. Okay, I will. Give me 1 sec. And so once I decided I was going to stay on this planet, I was like, okay, I have to figure out now how to heal myself, right? I have to figure this out because I could barely breathe when he left. Everybody kept saying just put one foot in front of the other. And I literally didn't know how to do that. Like it was a struggle every day just to breathe. So, So just keep talking to us, Mike, and we'll just keep talking back, okay? Do you want to talk about why you're sad? You throw that in a comment so I can kind of help you out. Elaborate a little bit for me. And I'm going to keep going, but I'll keep checking in, okay? So another example is getting angry or defensive. Maybe you always feel attacked and the need to defend yourself. There again, I'm guilty, right? Sometimes when people come at me, I still get triggered and then I go, okay, that means I have something unhealed, right? If somebody can push your buttons and you're triggered, there's a reason why you're triggered. So you have some kind of healing you need to work on there, okay? So 3 types of triggers can be: 1, emotional, like we just talked about; environmental. I have fibromyalgia, so I'm very sensitive to certain sounds and smells. Another thing would be crowds. And that kind of falls in with the social too. Number 3 would be social. So for me, growing up, I never felt like I fit in, right? I always knew I was the unique girl, the circle that didn't fit in the square, right? But when you're a teenager, you want more than anything to fit in, right? Which is crazy because I wanted to fit in so bad, but at the same time, I didn't want to fit in. That's the crazy part. And so my whole life, I felt like I was broken, right? And so if I didn't get invited to something, maybe I wanted to get invited, but at the same time, I was glad I wasn't invited. Does anybody else have that struggle? I fit in for a brief period of time. You fit in for a brief period of time. And just know that we were made unique for a reason, right? We are who we are for a reason. We weren't meant to fit in. If you don't fit in, you weren't meant to fit in. Just know that. And know that it's okay. It really is okay. And you have to embrace that uniqueness. Thank you for the badge. Until this morning around 12, I finally took the test. And then prior to that, I got sick. Oh, I'm so sorry you got sick. I'm sorry, but I'm so glad that you passed your practice test. That's awesome. That's why you're so weird. That's why I'm so weird. I know. And I take pride that I'm weird. Read the rest of them. Sorry, I might not have gotten all of them, Veronica. They like to censor my comments. So if you sent a comment and I didn't answer to it, that's probably why. There aren't any more on there. They only give me like half my comments sometimes, which is crazy because they never censor the trolls or filter the trolls out. Just my comments that I'm supposed to get. But yeah, and I know I'm weird and I embrace that now. I'm 50 years old and I can proudly say that I'm the unique girl. I'm the circle that don't fit in the square and I'm weird and I'm okay with that. I'm very much 100% okay with that. Mike, what's sad? That they censor my comments? So just message me. If you see I'm not getting a comment, message me. I was telling you that my issues, this whole journey with my GED, with the math. Yeah, I did read all of that you sent me privately. Do I work out? Sometimes when I get a chance. I work 2 jobs, so I don't always have time. But I do like to work out when I can. Okay, so for me, one of my triggers is I get triggered around people who have been drinking a lot. If people are in excessive drinking, I get triggered. And some of that comes from, it reminds me of negative experiences that I've had in my life, right? And so there's a trigger for me. Do I have 4 or 5 cats? I actually have 2. Thank you very much. And if you're trying to be mean, good luck. My husband checked out after 32 years. I've basically had the last year and a half has been the worst year of my life. There isn't anything you can say on here that is going to actually trigger me if that's what you're trying to do. It isn't going to happen. I'm just going to let you talk for so long and then I'll just block you and forget that you ever existed. So if you're trying to trigger me, that isn't going to happen, just so you know. It's funny because that's you. Okay, my grandpa and uncle said that because of it, but I still do it. Okay. Okay, wow. My grandpa and uncle died from that. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mike. Sorry to hear that. Okay. So for me, that's another one of my triggers, right? Because of experiences that I had in my childhood, right? And so, how do you deal with emotional triggers? One, it helps if you establish boundaries. Boundaries are huge. Multiple uncles. I understand. I have lots of family members. They didn't of that, but so I understand where you're coming from for sure. And I would assume if you're anything like me, then you probably have some emotional triggers from that, probably, that need to be healed. You're carrying on the tradition. Now, see, for me, I was adamant to not carry on the tradition. So, and you know, you don't have to. You can be that person that breaks the chain, Mike. You know that, right? You can be that person that says, you know, no. Because honestly, are you just doing it? You know, you have to figure out why you're doing it. We don't talk politics here, and it doesn't do any good to blame your parents because most of the time you're an adult. You should take responsibility for your own issues. And thank you for visiting my page, but it's time for you to go. I love people. I really do. I just, you know, I do, but I'm dealing with it with alcohol. And you know, you're not really dealing with it then, right? You do know that, right? Because alcohol, it's just covering. You're just masking, right? You're not dealing with it. Just so you know. It's like sweeping it under the rug. If you're new here, I always use that analogy. You're just sweeping it under the rug. And what happens eventually is the rug gets a big bump and you end up tripping over the rug and you will have to deal with it eventually. I'm doing it because that's the only time I'm happy. Okay, well, first of all, we are the ones that make ourselves happy. And so if you walk through those traumas and those storms, you can actually deal with it. And I'm no judgment here, by the way. I hope I'm not sounding judgmental because I apologize. It's been a long day. That's not at all my intention. I totally understand where you're coming from, but you're really just masking it. You're not dealing with it. Although now I am not happy whatsoever. Exactly, because you're not dealing with the trauma, right? Eventually, the problem with drugs and alcohol and all of those kind of addictions that come with trying to mask trauma is that eventually they stop masking it, right? After so long, that doesn't work anymore. And so you have two choices. You know, you get clean, you get off of all that stuff and you actually deal with it, stop sweeping it under the rug. You walk through the storm, you deal with the trauma and you become a much better, happier person. Trust me, been there, done that. I didn't have addictions like that. But I had a lot of other issues, especially that I was working through with my husband. And unfortunately, Mike, you have to walk through the storm and actually just deal with it. It's funny because alcohol is the least I can do. I used to do worse. I get that too, but and here's the thing is not only that, but if you're drinking alcohol and you're already in a sad state, that puts you in more of a sad state. If you're not familiar, I'm also a medium. And like I said, I talk to my guides, they're spirit guides, right? My angels, my guides. And so here's the thing. That's why they call alcohol spirits. So if you're sad and depressed, you're also inviting other things into your life and you're actually making it a lot worse. If you're not aware of that, you can, because when you're lowering your vibration so low and you're already that low and you're drinking alcohol, you're opening up kind of portals to let things in. Just, I didn't know if you're aware of that. So anyway, so let's see, where was I? Sorry guys, I lost track of where I was at. Sorry, I turned the page too far. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Let's see. So sounds can also be a trigger, right? And so I called my son tonight because as soon as I wrote down sounds, it made me think of a story with my son and I wanted to make sure it was okay to share this before I just shared. since it's about him. Jim from North Carolina, welcome and thank you for the badge. So in 2011, my son was in a really bad car accident, and he's lucky to still be here, right? And about it wasn't 3 days. It was actually only like 2.5 days, 3 days after his accident. He had gotten out of the hospital, and we had to go to Target to get a couple things. And we got up to the checkout, and somebody was pushing the carts in to put them in the cart thing, and it made a loud bang, right? And that sound triggered my son, like really triggered him. Like he started crying, freaking out, panic attack, the whole 9 yards. He's like, Mom, I gotta go to the car. And he freaked out, and I give him the keys. He went to the car, right? And it was funny not really funny, but when I called him tonight to say, hey, I'm going to talk about you, is that okay? He hadn't even remembered that incident, right? But when I told him about it, what I was going to talk about, he got goosebumps, right? So sounds can be a trigger too, right? So that's where maybe our military people, right? PTSD comes in, which isn't good. Let's see. You did more than most people would. Well, it's all about, do you want to be happy? Do you want to heal, right? Or do you want to just stay in that? Oh, thank you, Soul Whisper. You're so great. There's your heart. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for the badge too. And so that's where, a lot of times, like I was saying, as our military people end up with PTSD, right? Because of sounds can trigger them. 4th of July, a lot of them struggle because if they've been to where we've had war zones, right? And so there's a trigger there. Again, you have to figure out a way to heal that. Soul Whispers, good evening. I'm sorry I forgot your name. Will you remind me? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. And so then another one we talked about, so my guide said, was sight. Seeing something traumatic, right? So there again, our soldiers, PTSD, maybe they went to a war zone, they saw something traumatic. So then they come back and now they're never the same, right? And so that's a trigger that has to be healed, because if you don't heal that, it just turns into something else. Like with your issue, Mike, right? Where, you can turn to drugs and alcohol and be dependent on other things, but just know that those things don't solve that, right? It just masks it. And only, like you were talking about, now it really doesn't even mask it anymore, right? After a certain while, those things no longer mask those issues. So there again, you're just sweeping it under the rug until eventually you just trip over the rug. Julie from Louisiana, welcome. Evelyn, sorry I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the badge, Julie. I appreciate that so very much. So another thing that can be traumatic, maybe abuse. You saw somebody or yourself was abused, right? Or maybe you saw death, some kind of unalived. I have to be careful how I say that. I almost said the naughty word. They would have banned me. So if you watch somebody be unalived, right, that can be a trigger. So for me, losing my husband was a trigger because that was a traumatic event that, I have flashbacks still to this day. I never know when I close my eyes when I'm going to see that day all over again, right? And so I'm working on that trigger. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. So what are some responses? So we've already been talking about that a little bit. Responses could be fear, anxiety, panic, right? I know when I get around people who have been drinking too much, I start to get anxiety. It gives me major anxiety from past experiences. So there again, it's a trigger that I'm working on. And it also can be, so my guide said personality traits, right? Like being easily angered or have low tolerance or frustration, right? So maybe you have low tolerance for certain people or certain things, and so you get triggered or angered, right? How many people have road rage, right? That is like a personality trait. Aw, Jim, thank you for the heart. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate that. And the badge, I appreciate that. Mike, USMC, Marine Corps. Thank you for the follow. Is that right? So we're talking about triggers and kind of evolves around PTSD. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Thank you for the like. Soul Whispers. Yeah, if you guys can keep tapping that screen, it really does help me out a lot. I appreciate it. So sometimes it's just a personality trait, right? And believe it or not, that is something that we can heal from. Yes, and from Maine. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And so let's see what else she's got. So my guide said, our brains are wired to remember and to associate certain stimuli with past emotions, leading to the activation of these emotions when the stimulus is encountered again, right? So we've already talked about, right? Maybe, our trigger is, loud noises because of a past experience, abuse, emotional things, right? And so that's all of the negative triggers. Now we're going to hop over to, there are positive triggers also, if you're not aware. And some of those positive triggers can be smells, objects, places, memories, right? And, right, have you ever, this is crazy. So I had a boyfriend in high school before I met my husband. And one Christmas, we were at one of my husband's Christmases, and his aunt walked into the kitchen, and I swear she smelled like the boyfriend I had. Why she had on something that smelled like my ex-boyfriend, but it was like, and I'm not necessarily saying that was a positive, but more of a funny, just a funny for tonight. But sometimes how you smell something that maybe takes you back to a positive memory when you were in childhood or teenage years, or a song on the radio, right? Anybody have that? I've had more traumatic experiences in my life than I should have. Julie, I totally understand. I've had my fair share for sure. You're welcome to talk about them here at any time, and we can always help you through any of those. Just let us know. And I'm so sorry for that. Are you working through any of those traumas at all? Just curious. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from South Dakota. So like I said, all of those things can bring positive emotions with feelings of joy, confidence, and hope, right? So maybe you have a memory of something something that triggers a memory that brings back confidence or something joyful in your life. Yes, going to counseling. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Is counseling going good? I hope so. Okay, so healing through triggers. Sorry, guys. She gave me 4 pages tonight. She was really active today. So healing through triggers. Acknowledging the feelings or things that trigger you. Recognizing the triggers and understanding that their origins to develop ways to manage them, right? It helps. Oh, good. I'm so glad. And so that's how we work through our triggers, right? First, we have to acknowledge them. And then we kind of deep dive, like I said, tune into them. Where did they come from? Why am I being triggered? Maybe work through some of that stuff, right? And that helps us be able to manage them better, right? So there again, here's some other ways to be able that she gave me to work through them, right? Deep breathing, meditation, grounding. Chili dogs rock. Yes, they do. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Sergio? Did I say that right? I don't want to slaughter your name. I'm sorry. And where are you from? Mike, thank you for the likes. I appreciate that so very much. And so for me, a lot of my triggers I'm working through by journaling, grounding, and meditation. Some of these things, if you're not familiar what grounding is getting out into nature. Nature is very healing. Putting your feet in the grass, the dirt, the sand, water. Grounding is about as healing as you can get, right? Get out into nature. You need to heal, go into nature. After my husband checked out on me, I would sit in nature and I would journal, right? And I would meditate. And it was the most healing thing ever for me. Besides being on here with all you lovely people, you helped me too very much. Does this appeal to my flirtatious side? What's that, the chili dogs? If you knew how much I love food, I would have to probably say yes. Painting, crafting, and deep breathing. Yes, I love that. And I'm a crafter as well, and I love to sew. When I don't have to sew, right? When I have to sew, I don't love it so much. Like when I have a bunch of orders and I have to get it done, then I don't love it so much. But when I can just sit down at my sewing machine and create something that I want to create and I'm not on a time frame, then yes, it is very healing for me. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the badge. I appreciate that. Thanks for the likes too, Mike. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so then my guide said, surround yourself with positive people who offer understanding and support and forgiveness, right? And then last but not least, practice self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others who may have contributed to that trauma, those triggers, right? So thank you all for being on here tonight. I got to go over some stuff. I have to do some little plugs that my guides get upset with me if I don't. So if you're not familiar, I also have a YouTube channel, and that's Scorpio Medium. If you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you subscribed. All my videos that you see here are also over there. The only difference is that if you miss a live and you would like to catch that, I upload all my lives over there, usually the next day. Lay down, Bentley. Sorry, my dog's getting antsy. He does that by the end of my live. And if you look at my bio here and my bio over there, if you missed it, I am also a medium. And so if you go to if you would like to book a channeling session with somebody that's crossed over, you can do that through my email. And also I am live here Sunday through Wednesday, usually between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Tonight it was 7:17. I'm a huge angel number girl. So as soon as I hit 17, I'm like, I got to get on. So if you're not I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, guys. I normally don't work Sundays, but I had to be up today, so I'm a little tired. Julie, yes, totally agree. Oh, I'm glad. So thank you all very much for being here tonight. I appreciate you so very much. It looks like I'm surprised I got through this 4 pages as fast as I did. Does anybody have any comments? Like I said, we're not shy here. You're welcome to comment. You have any questions for me? Anybody? Going once? Anybody? Hopefully. And if I missed any of your comments and I didn't respond, that means I didn't get them. So you're welcome to message me and I'll try to respond that way. Okay, well, if nobody has any questions or anything else they want to say tonight, I appreciate you all being here so very much. I'll be back here tomorrow night between 7 and 8 o'clock. I try to keep it closer to 7. Tonight I would have been 5 minutes early, but I got a phone call. So I just appreciate you all very much. Thank you, everybody, for all the gifts, all of the likes, all the badges. I appreciate you so much. User 791120188947. Thank you for the badge. Do you have a name and where you're from? And thank you for the likes, too. I appreciate that. On that note, I'm going to say I hope you all have a great night. And remember to make tomorrow great because it is a choice. And on that note, I'm going to say, Kathy, glad to have you here, Kathy. I'm going to say on that note, till we meet again.